Like, this thing makes all the right noises. And let's give her a little bit. Oh, buddy, you gotta get out of my lane. I can honestly say it's probably not ran this good, dare I say, since it was stock. All right, guys, well, finally time to take you out for a little cruise in the car after, well, some hiccups and a whole winter's worth of work. So I wanted to bring you along and just kind of take you for a cruise, talk you through how things have gone, give you some high notes, give you some low notes, give you some would I do it agains or not, and just kind of fill you in. So maybe I'll start things off by saying that for anyone that caught my alternator kind of pseudo disaster video, I'll let you know that we got that fixed. We decided that it was a faulty alternator, and LMR came good on all of that and shipped me a new 200 amp SV alternator out, and everything's working great. It was a nice upgrade. Since then I've put in two 12-inch Spall electric fans, which have a fairly decent power draw.
Yeah, you know those are working.
And you definitely don't lose any sleep on the power draw with that 200 amp alternator in there. So that's been good. And then I've got my air ride, which, not that those compressors are on all the time, but if you're pulling in and out of places and airing it down and parking it and whatever, and those compressors are running, that's a pretty good draw on the system too. So I feel a little better having the 200 amper in there. Had a 130 in there before, and I would say the 200 amp is definitely what the doctor ordered for me. So all good there. Quickly touch on my vintage air AC system, our whole HVAC kit, their Gen 5 system. Unbelievable. This thing is working great. Okay, that's enough for me. 35.2. It's still dropping. We might get down to freezing in my cab here. Don't have my windows down. It's about 85 degrees out right now, and I'm actually just on the edge of maybe I should turn it down a little bit. Like, it's keeping the cabin beautifully comfortable, you know, almost maybe a little too cold. So yeah, that's working great. Cobra brake upgrade, unbelievable. One thing that I didn't touch on, but it really has nothing to do with like doing the Cobra brake upgrade on this car, but I had a bad caliper right out of the box in the back of this thing. So got that flipped out and actually warrantied it. My local parts store said, yep, we'll get you a new one. So that was beauty. Now, the Kenne Bell, the bell of the ball. What are my thoughts? This thing has been, well, it's fought me a little bit. It actually hasn't, but like, you know, putting the whole package together and getting it to run right and everything else has. I guess I'll maybe start off, if you didn't see my dyno video or whatever, we found out quite quickly that we were gonna essentially head towards splitting my stock bottom end 302 in half. Because the way the pulley configuration worked out, I was about to feed this poor little thing 17 pounds boost, which probably would not have ended well. Would have been fun for a short period of time, and then we would have heard boom. So we dialed it back with the best we could in the moment, because I actually didn't have any more pulleys for the blower. All we could do was change the crank pulley, which I was originally running just a stock crank pulley. I think they're about 6.5 inches or so. All we could do is put a underdrive pulley, which was like 4.25 inches on it, and yeah, I mean, it was the only option we had to try to finish that day out on the dyno. That brought the boost down to like 6, 7 from 17. So she didn't come away with the most shiny numbers, okay? It was about 360-ish horsepower or something like that. And not that I was chasing numbers or anything, but I was really hoping to see something with a 4, right? Even if it was just 400 flat, I'd be like, okay, we kind of hit the monumental point of 400 horse, but it should, in my opinion, have more in it than that, because this thing's got AFR 165 heads. It's got a kind of middle of the road comp cam, a 264 HR. It's kind of got all the ingredients for, I would say, tickling 400 horse, if not more, right? Maybe 4 1/4, 450, whatever. So we walked away with our kind of head hung low a little bit, and then dealt with some tuning issues. I had some stalling. I had some sputtering. We definitely didn't get all the bugs worked out. So went back to the drawing board, tuning wise. But when we did, I started with a crank pulley. For those of you that don't know, the 93 Cobras had a crank pulley that was like 5 and change inches, which falls right in between the stock 6.5 and the underdrive 4 1/4 or whatever. Don't quote me on those numbers, but just to give you a mind's eye view of all this. So it falls right in the middle, and I ran the boost calculations, and I figured this would land me in and around 10 to 12 pounds of boost. So, which is kind of right in where I wanted to be. Anyway, we put that pulley on, started data logging and farting around with the tuning of it all, and got this thing dialed right in. So now I'm seeing probably not 10 tonight, but like all of 8, okay, 9, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. Like, anytime you want to put your foot into it, this thing's ready to eat. And now, not that it's, you know, some 1,000 horsepower monster or anything, but my coupe's about 2,900 pounds, like maybe just tickling 3,000. So, and I'm guessing I'm probably safely into the low 400s now, I would say. I haven't had it on a dyno, so I can't say for sure, but driven enough cars that are like this, I would probably say this thing's in and around 4, 4 1/4, maybe a little more, right, on a good day. But anyway, a lot of fun. Now I do have a methanol kit on this Kenne Bell blower, because these Kenne Bells like to make a lot of heat, and this one does just that. It makes a lot of heat. Part of the reason why I had to get rid of my contour fans and put these Spall fans into it, that was just recently here. And finally I have won the battle of heat, okay? I would maybe still like to get a different hood on this car, something that gets more heat out of the engine bay, but for now, we're holding. And like I said, I'm rolling down the road with my AC on, we're good. But yeah, blower makes a lot of heat. So this maybe is a good point in time to tell you like lessons learned, or would I do it again or whatever. Now, would I do this again? Would I buy a Kenne Bell blower? I would, for sure. Now, things that I would change, I would intercool it. And now the heartbreaker for me in my situation, if you haven't followed along since the start, is I bought this Kenne Bell blower used, and it was actually intercooled when the previous owner had it. So the piping was all on it and everything. It was ready to, whatever, pipe your way down to the front end of the car and hook up an intercooler. Well, he decided to get rid of all that and throw some block off plates where the intercooling piping was and weld her up. So, and then he bolted it onto his car, and then he decided, you know what, I don't want to dick around with this thing. I'm going to sell it. And that's when I bought it. So I bought it freshly unintercooled. A little bit of a heartbreaker, because I would have liked to have been intercooled versus running this methanol kit. The methanol kit does what it's intended to do, but there's better ways to do it, right? An intercooling system would be the answer. So yeah, would I do it again? For sure. I think the blower is very capable. Well, I know it's very capable of make and boost. Like I said earlier, it made 17 pounds, but the downfall with make and boost with one of these twin screws is heat. Heat is your enemy. So yeah, you kind of take the good with the bad. Now, I don't have any indication how much heat I'm knocking out of my intake air charge temps because, well, I actually do have a gauge and a sensor for monitoring that, but my gauges I'm still fighting. It's a bit of a long story. I've talked about it on one of my other videos. Don't need to get into that right now. So I don't have any like tangible figures to share with you as to how much the methanol kit is actually cooling things down. But in my heart of hearts, I feel like it's doing what it's intending to do. It's cooling down the air charge temp. I just don't know by how much, all right? And I know that after I get home from a cruise like this, I'll have my little gauge flashing at me saying, you're running out of methanol. So I know it's going somewhere, right? Anyway, yeah, so would I do it again? 100%. Like, this thing makes all the right noises. I don't know if you guys can hear the blower through the mic and stuff, but like, it absolutely sounds unreal in the cab of the car, right? That kind of 03, 04 blower whine. Super, super cool. So yeah, for those reasons, 100% I would do it again. But like I say, I think I would run down the road of, before I even started tearing into the car, I would be building an intercooled inlet outlet, and we'd be intercooling it for sure. Then you would have the answer. Now, I'm not aware of anyone. There was a guy years ago, I think he was actually one of the first guys to intercool one of these things. He was pushing that thing to some fairly intense limits. There's some old videos of it on YouTube, and I think he was, you know, actually getting places, right? And it was intercooled and was making big power and whatever, but I don't know of anyone off the top of my head that has gone down that. If you were chasing a horsepower or a torque figure, I don't know of anyone that's doing that right now with one of these Kenne Bell blowers. I think guys are doing it other ways, and I think there's probably easier ways of doing it as well. So yeah, so it would be fun to do that. Who knows, maybe down the road we will, but for now, I've had this car down so long, I got to get out and enjoy it. Couple other little high points. Loving the Recaro seats. I will say though, in all honesty, if you're a little bit of a bigger guy, which I'm not claiming to be, but I am getting a little longer in the tooth, these seats kind of change the game when you're getting in and out of the car, right? Because they do have some fairly significant bolstering and they hold you pretty tight. So as you go to get in and out, they're holding on to you. And so it's a whole different animal from, say, stock seats. But yeah, when you're in them, super comfortable. They obviously, well, at least in my opinion, look the part. They look great. And yeah, so, and then I guess just maybe finally, before we get to the point where I'm gonna set some cameras up and I'll do some kind of flybys and everything else, the car's running great. I can honestly say it's probably not ran this good, dare I say, since it was stock. It's running really, really, really good. So yeah, very happy, ladies and gents, and very happy to be out and enjoying the damn thing. It's been a long time coming, and we're now, when I film this, halfway through September, which is kind of the time when everybody wants to get out and horse around because the temps are dropping a little bit and whatever. But haven't spent a lot of time behind the wheel of it this summer. We've been busy, long stories, but yeah, finally getting out and enjoying it, and absolutely loving it. Loving every second of it, especially this AC. I spent so many years in this car. I've owned it since I was 17. So many years in this car, absolutely sweating my ass off. And now I can roll down the road, windows up, AC on, having a conversation with you guys. Hopefully you're hearing me all right, but yeah, it's just awesome. It's probably, between that and the blower, it's puts two of the biggest smiles on my face, for sure.